Number two, we're going to go over another similar example. So in this one, I'll come up with the example, let's say square root of 36, x to the 6th, y to the 9th power. Everything is inside that radical, just like this one. Now, since it's a radical, I'm going to think about what is that index out front, what number's out front, and that's a 2. It's a square root. So I'm looking for perfect squares of 36. Now I could try to factor like 9 and 4, et cetera, but I know that 6 times 6 is 36. And so since it is a perfect square, think about it this way. Since 36 is a perfect square, I know that that's just 6. So when I think about this problem, the 6 is going to come out front. And then I'm going to think about what remains in here. I got the x to the 6th and the y to the 9th. So square root of 36 comes out front as 6. And now I'm looking at this. Now, again, since it's a perfect square, a square root, I'm looking for perfect squares on the inside. So I'm going to break each one of these down into as many groups of 2 as possible. And for this x to the 6th power, I'm breaking that into 3 groups of 2. And for y to the 9th, I can make, let's see, 1, 2, that's 4, 6, 8, and then I have 1 left over. And so when I have something like this, now I can start to think about how this is going to factor down. Now I ran out of space. This is not a good move for me. So I'm going to come on over to the side over here. I'm going to keep that 6 out front. And then every group of 2, I think about squaring a square root, right? Square rooting x squared, that just gives me regular x. So how many regular x's are going to come out front? 1, 2, 3. 1 for each group. How many y squareds, right? If I take the square root of y squared, that just gives me regular y. How many y's are going to come out front? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we can see that we have 1 left over. That's not a perfect square, so that stays on the inside. And so really what we're doing is we're grouping things based on this index, right, into as many groups of 2 as possible. And we're counting those groups of 2 out front. How many groups of 2, how many groups of 2, and then whatever is left over that doesn't have a perfect group of 2, that stays on the inside.